We've all been there, right? You sit down, you hit the power button, and nothing. Or worse, your computer just drags, acting up right in the middle of something super important. There's this universal dread that washes over us when our tech starts failing. It honestly feels like the machine is conspiring against us. But hey, before you throw your hands up in defeat and throw out your old computer, you really need to check this first.
Think about your own machine for a second. If it's been running terribly slow, freezing up on you, or just crashing out of nowhere, your absolute first instinct is probably to groan and say, "That's it, I need a new one." It's totally human nature to want to just wipe the slate clean and start fresh when we're frustrated by those endless load times and buggy software. But we need to challenge that instinct today in this explainer, because most of the time, that sinking feeling that your computer is on its absolute last legs, it's simply not true.
And look, jumping straight to that worst-case scenario leads directly to some major financial anxiety. If you panic buy, you are looking at dropping $600, $800, or even a solid $1,000 on a brand new machine. That is a massive hit to the wallet. And the absolute worst part is, you might be spending that $1,000 completely unnecessarily just to fix a symptom that isn't actually a fatal disease for your computer.
But here is the hidden reality we often forget. A lot of the time, a computer that seems like it is completely dying and ready for the scrapyard is actually just a $50 to $100 fix. That massive wave of panic you felt, it might just be a minor speed bump. We are literally talking about a fraction of the cost of a new device.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To avoid that unnecessary $1,000 purchase, we're going to use a diagnostic decision tree. We'll be walking through the age check, symptom triage, the cost test, and finally, the capability check.
Think of it like we're tech investigators today. We are going to mentally pop the hood of your machine and step through these 4 distinct branches, and by the end of it, you'll have a definitive answer on whether to repair or replace.
All right, let's start with branch number 1, the age check.
And this brilliantly illustrates how a machine's baseline fixability generally falls into one of 3 timelines. We've got under 4 years old, the 4 to 7 year sweet spot, and then that legacy category of 7+ years. Pinpoint exactly where your device lands right now.
So here's how you read that timeline. If your machine is under 4 years old, listen, in almost every single case, whatever is wrong with it is absolutely fixable. It is super rare for something that young to just die completely. Now, if you're in the 4 to 7 year bracket, it really depends on what's broken. Small stuff is totally worth fixing. Bigger failures are a bit more case by case. And if you're at 7+ years, well, repairs can still make sense for simple things, but you really have to scrutinize the device, especially if more than one thing is going on at the exact same time.
Moving right along to the most critical step, branch number 2, symptom triage.
Because let's face it, not all problems are created equal. To figure out if it's worth fixing or if it's really time to replace, we need to run a step-by-step hardware diagnosis. We've got to separate those minor annoyances from actual fatal hardware failures.
Okay, step 1 of our triage. Let's check your basic resources. If your PC is running sluggishly, just open up your task manager. See if your RAM or CPU is getting completely maxed out by some random background app. Step 2, check your storage drive to make sure it isn't totally full. Honestly, issues like low storage, a dead laptop battery, flaky Wi-Fi, or software that just keeps crashing, they feel incredibly frustrating, I know. But take comfort, these are easy, minor repairs. They are not death sentences for your tech.
Now for step 3 of our triage, looking for fatal system failures. Look, if you press the power button and get absolutely no lights, 0 fan noise, or those awful continuous beep codes, yeah, your motherboard has likely failed. Other things like water damage, constant thermal shutdowns even after you've cleaned the vents, or a total inability to install crucial security updates, those are neon flashing signs that it is officially time to replace.
So the crucial point is figuring out the financials. Branch number 3, the cost test. For this step, we're going to use a golden rule of thumb. It's called the 50% rule. Basically, if fixing your current computer is going to cost more than half of what a comparable new or even refurbished computer would run you, replacing it is usually the smarter move. But if the fix is well under that halfway mark, repairing it is almost always the better deal. It keeps your device running and, more importantly, saves you cash. But hold on, here is the massive catch. And please, don't skip this part. You literally do not know the real repair cost until a pro actually looks at it. Seriously, do not guess the cost yourself. That slow computer that is driving you completely crazy? It might just need a simple $60 upgrade. Or better yet, it might need a completely free $0 software tweak. It rarely means you instantly need to go out and buy a $700 replacement. Always let a professional diagnose the costs before you apply that 50% rule.
Which brings us to the final branch of our diagnostic tree, branch number 4, the capability check. Because here is a perfectly valid reality we have to acknowledge. Sometimes your computer is technically fine. Nothing is actually broken, but it just can't keep up with you anymore. If it's too slow to handle your daily video calls, or it just can't run the current software you need for work or your hobbies, or maybe the screen resolution is literally holding you back from doing what you need to do, hey, that is a perfectly legitimate reason to upgrade. Your frustration is completely validated here. If it can't do the job, it's time to move on. So let's bring this all together. The core takeaway of this explainer is super clear. Before you spend your hard-earned money, find out what is actually wrong first. A whole lot of those "my computer is dying" moments are actually just a cheap $50 fix, not some massive budget-breaking purchase. So don't guess. Run the decision tree. Diagnose it.
So, take a look at your machine right now. Are you ready to pop the hood and find that cheap fix? Or is it finally time to let go? If it is time to replace it, don't worry, we've got you covered. Next time, we're going to break down exactly what specs actually matter when buying new, so you don't overspend on features you really don't need. Until then, happy diagnosing.